So, hi everybody, Harry here from the factory. So, this is my diary number three, and number three is important because I wasn't going to do this. I wanted to do this channel thing and the class thing, and I really do. And when you're starting to do stuff, you put it off. All right, before I start, please like, share, subscribe, get in contact. Please, even tell me that you hate my show or you disagree with everything I say. Just get in contact. It'll be good for you. So the three videos thing. So I was hemming and hawing as you do when you're trying to do something new that you've never done before and have no idea how to do things. And I came across a video from a guy who does classes and stuff about running your social media. I didn't do the class. I watched his first video. I watched a few, and he said just put up three videos, um, and just do it. So like Nike say, just do it. And that's what I've done. And during those three videos, you kind of try and figure out what works for you and stuff like that. And then just do seven more. And so the next seven, if there is four, then you know I'm taking it seriously. And in the next seven, just make it better and better and work things out and go from there. And that's what my plan is now. Because I have to decide now whether this is going to do it properly or not. And that's what he was saying. Is it going to be a hobby or are you going to take it seriously? Now, it's so hard even to get these videos up, and it's hard to do any of these things because, like a lot of people, I have a life and I have a job that I hate, and I have wife and kids and everything that comes with life, and it's tough. And plus, I want to play board games. So there's no in between. I either decide between now and next Friday or Saturday. I'm not going to do it, and if that's the case, I delete everything and put it down to experience. Um, so let's see what happens. Um, I am. I'm going to take advice from one of my favorite channels. I'm a Liverpool fan, by the way. One of my favorite channels is Anfield Agenda, and I've been watching him for years, and I've seen him how he's changed his channel and grown, and he's doing amazing, and his channel is great. And when he's been asked, the only bit of advice he gives is one is to be constant. If you're gonna do one a week, and do what you say and do it, constantly and be committed. And most importantly, to be true to yourself and to be yourself, and that's what I'm going to try and do. And I think that's what I'm more comfortable with. I mean, I have a few notes. This isn't scripted. This is just me jabbering. I'm not going to be doing reviews, but I will be telling you about the games I like, and then obviously I have my soft skills videos that I'll be doing, and I'll be coming from this. I think as a parent more so, and how I see things within the hobby and stuff as a parent, as well as someone who loves games. Because it was, and because when I first got into it and started, obviously there was the good it was bringing me in for my own mental health and helping me with my depression and stuff. And but I'm also a parent. I have three kids, and I looked, and I still go look at a game and go, "Oh my God, this can help with this, or this can help with that." And when I look at my collection behind me, that's how I feel. It's kind of sometimes on a good day, it's like the guy in the Matrix. He doesn't see numbers; he just sees people. And sometimes when I look at the games, I can see the skills that they can teach. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I've two friends who have Twitch channels. I think I've set up a Twitch channel. The link will be below, and I'm going to be running on that soon. And I'm going to be running games and playthroughs. I wouldn't be watching them to learn how to play the game exactly, but if you want to watch somebody try and learn a game and just see how hard it is, and laugh at me as I get stuff wrong. I'll also be doing a few video games, not my favorite ones. They'll be old ones. Ultima 4 and SimCity 4 and Portal are more my three favorite games. So I'll be doing stuff like that a little, but mainly board games. And now and again, I'll be doing stuff about movies because I love movies since I was 12, and they're very important to me. But obviously, mainly board games, but then everything will be coming from a parental point of view. So my weekly diary is is going to be what I've played and what I've learnt. So firstly, a shout out to the Scouts Den up in Clane. I was up there on Saturday. Really nice people. They have started, I think it's once a month. The Clane Board Game Club will be there. It's a fiver for the day, and the fiver goes towards the Scouts then to keep it running. Really nice people. Learned a lot. These people looking after kids, I don't know how they do it, but they're amazing, and I'd recommend it. It's only starting, and I think hopefully it'll take off. And so, thank you to them. It was a really good day. I got a couple of wins in, which is rare for me. I finished off the game with this long shot the dice game. Might owe someone a little apology. I got a little bit too excited, and because I needed them to get the 8 horse, the outsider, across the line in second place, and they did, and I won. So sorry if I was a little bit enthusiastic. Yeah, but it was good fun. Yeah, I didn't really get to play much more games. It's been a busy week. Just one of those things. So I suppose I was going to talk about reviewers and why I'm not going to be doing reviews on this channel. But I actually recorded that last night, to be honest, and I didn't like what I said, and I wasn't happy. I didn't get my point across, and I didn't get my point across well about what I'm going to really talk about now, which is the game I got to play on during the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, with a friend of mine, and that's Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico's an old game. It's a classic. It's great. Some people have some issues, and I'm going to talk about that at the end, because that's the bit I was thinking about today when I was up in the library, and I was taking these notes in peace and quiet. So sort of peace and quiet. So Puerto Rico is basically a Euro. It's a resource management. It came out in 2002. I know it was number 1 on the BGG Top 100 list for a good few years. Agricola knocked it off for a bit, and then it actually became number 1 again for about 6 months or something like that, a couple of years later. It got a reprint last year, I think, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But basically, you play as, notes here, colonial governors on the island, and the idea obviously is to see who's the best, and to win you get the most victory points. And the two ways of getting your victory points are constructing your buildings, and you get them during the game by exporting goods that you have produced from the fields to warehouses into your buildings, and then onto the ships. And you can also sell those goods, though, for money, for doubloons, I think it is, for doubloons, and you sell them by buildings. So I think it's an amazing game. I think it's great. I think it's in the top 30 at the moment still, which I think is great. It's definitely in the top 100, but I would recommend everybody to play this at least once. So one of the things that it teaches you, which I like in games, is that, and this does something great, because sometimes in games there can be downtime, can be a problem as you're waiting for someone to take a turn. And in a lot of games, what happens is you go and it's your turn, and when it's your turn, you have a choice of different actions to take, and then it's the next person and the next person. But what it does in we played the 2-player game, and in the 2-player variant, there are 7 actions put out. And actually, I'm going to get this out so I can go through them a little bit. You get the 7 actions out, and you take a turn. Whoever's the first player swaps each round. Well, you pick which action. So you pick the first action, and then your opponent will pick the second action. So each round is different. And when you pick the action, everyone takes the action. But if you're first and you're the one who picks it, you get a little bit of a bonus. which is great. And I love that. I love that because there's that thing in gaming that I'm not very good at, and it's that idea that sometimes stops us. Um, that sometimes we become too concentrated sometimes on, well, how does this help everyone else instead of looking at how it helps yourself. Um, I'm not doing that because that helps them too much, even if it helps yourself more. So, what this I think lets you do and lets you work on is that ability. Because whichever one you pick, well, the other person's going to do the same thing. Now, there is a downside to that, strategy wise, and I'll get to that at the end as well. So the actions are here somewhere. So basically, your actions are you can be the settler, and everyone takes from the plantation, which increases your field. Mayor phase, which you take the colonists, and the colonists come and either work in your buildings or work on the field. You need to do both to produce, and also get bonuses. There's the building, which is the building. That's pretty obvious. You pay gold to. There's the craftsman, which is the production of goods. So whatever's in your field. The trader, that's where you're selling your goods for gold. And there's a nice little blocking thing in there because the shop only takes 4 unless you have built a building that gives you the ability to sell the same type of goods. Again, you're continuously thinking and you're moving and jostling. And for a game that came out in 2002, I get why it was number 1. And to me, it still holds up. There's one or two. There's a slight imbalance, but again, I'll get to that. Then there's the captain, which is just the shipping of goods. And then if you don't want to do anything, you can just take the prospector, will get you one doubloon, but no one else does anything. Which later on, and when we were playing in the later rounds, we did that a lot because, especially on our last turn, because it wasn't worth doing it. Sometimes it wasn't worth doing the last action. So, yeah. So, but I really liked that thing of picking the action and everyone does it. So the order of the actions changes every round, and you have to figure out what the action, how it goes. Again, you're helping everybody. Everybody gets something, a plus out of it. Every turn, you nearly get something out of it. But which one is best for you? And I think that's a great skill to learn in life. I know I've struggled with that and still do. Of not taking risks and sometimes not doing stuff because it helps. It's human nature for a lot of us. Um, so what else? Yeah, learns how to yeah, and that can be a negative thing. I do love that mechanic, and the fact that there's very little down. Um, the only thing you have to wait for is when someone's picking which action, and then after that, it's very quick. And I don't know. For someone, I'm a slow thinker, so I'm not the quickest of players. I'm working on that, and I'm working on making more gut decisions because I overthink stuff. But this is a great game for people. I think for people who suffer with that. I'll jump to the obvious downside. The obvious downside, if you work out the strategy, if you know this game better and you're better at this game, and I suppose you say this with most games, probably all games where luck is either 0 or minimum, the other person's going to win probably every time unless they make a big mistake. I realized that about halfway through the game that, um, if I'm playing against someone who hasn't figured out the strategy, or if I'm playing against someone who knows it from the start, because some turns, depending on what happens, you know what to do. Which is, people give out about that, but it's not like it's every turn. And I remember somebody giving out about it for a multiplayer game that when somebody say played shipping in a say shipping in the, but they know the next thing to do then is to do the mayor one where you bring the colonists, the workers in to work the field or whatever, and work the building, and then someone doesn't take it, and people get upset. Well, that wasn't the move to make. And it kind of reminded me of being in Las Vegas, and I'm playing blackjack, and a guy, I hit on a number that supposedly you're not supposed to hit on, and I think a face card came out of 10, and the guy beside me went nuts because he said that was his 10. And I was like, well, you should have told me that was coming then, and it brings that. But I, I don't think it's that much of an. I don't know. In a two-player game, I don't think I didn't feel that's an issue. Um, Later in the game, yeah, there was a few decisions where oh, well, if he does this, I have to do this. But I didn't take away from the fun of the game or the burn of the thinking in the game. I thought it was brilliant. Um, like I lost because I was first to go on the last round, and it was going to be the last round because I had to build. I had one building to go, and I was doing it this round, and I let him know that. And my friend knows the game better, and I picked the wrong turn. I should have picked captain, which is shipping first, which would have given me the bonus, and I would have went first to block him. But instead, I went with the building to get the building that I wanted. And as it turned out, that was a mistake, and I lost by those couple of points. I lost by 5 points. He got an extra 5 points. I would have had more money, and I would have won with more doubloons. I wasn't too upset. I love when a game that's really fun and enjoyable and puzzly and um, like it's not the only reason why I lost that game. I could have made loads of other decisions that would have changed the game, had a different strategy. But when there's a move at the end that if I just picked a different one, well, some people don't like that. I love that because that brings me back again, and it was a really close game, and it was great. So, very quickly, the things um, that I suppose, from a soft skills point of view, what I thought that you could learn from playing this. I'm playing games like this again and again. Well, but it's obvious. Look, like most games, it's critical thinking. I just did a video on that on critical thinking, but obviously, critical thinking is one. Problem solving, again, that's pretty obvious. Um, there's a cultural awareness, I suppose, because of the time that it was set, and it's about colonization. Um, and I might call them colonists and workers, but that's not what they are. Um, Not at the time, during the game they're colonists. At the time, going back to when this is set. I'm going to get to that in a second. The other one is awareness, and that's just an understanding of the choices to be made, especially in relation to the other players. So it's just being aware of and then focusing on what's important, on your strategy. So I went a building strategy, and my friend went with a different strategy, and it's just focusing and just, yeah, I think they're kind of the main things that you would learn from that. It's not that hard of a game, believe it or not. It's I don't know what the weight is on BGG, but I didn't. I felt a nice burn, nice tinky burn, working things out, and it was nice and it was good fun, a good laugh. Um, yeah, so I'd recommend it. Hi, Sarah. That um, somebody came in. I had to do a bit of a cut now. So the issues are some people's issues with Puerto Rico. Um, I kind of got disturbed, and I was in the middle of a flow. So let me see if I can get back to this again. So first, Puerto Rico is a great game. I'd recommend it. Couldn't recommend it more. So the problem people have with it is that it's a game about colonization, and the workers, as I said, aren't workers; they're actually slaves. Um, and some people were of the opinion that the way it was implemented in the game did not truly show the impact or the reality of what happened, or the pain they went through, so on and so forth. Um, they're not wrong, but then if you did that, it'd be a totally different game. And there are games that I think do that better. But on the other hand, don't forget, this is a game. It's not a history class. Like the copy came out last year, and I think they tried to clean it up maybe and be less offensive. Um, I didn't find it offensive, but again, I find very little offensive. Um, but I think, and I disagree. I disagree. I just disagree anyway. Um, and while I was looking into things this morning when I was taking my notes, I came across somebody said, and it was actually on Wikipedia, and that led me off somewhere else. But I remember I wrote this down, and somebody had written a paper or an article that and about us if those that play it are unwitting moral accomplices in the horrors of human servitude. No, sorry, I call BS on that because that makes no logical sense whatsoever. I Because then if that was the truth, you'd have to apply that to loads of other games and movies and songs and everything. So no, like in fact, the crazy thing is that some of the clothes, especially certain brands that we buy, by doing that, you're actually unwitting or not, you know, if you're in denial, you're a moral accomplice. Unwitting moral accomplices in the horrors of human servitude will be yes, because we are. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, apologies. Because these clothes are being made in sweatshops under basically slave labor. Our batteries in our phones and our electric cars. Um, yeah, I hope if you've seen the videos, you'll know. But me playing Puerto Rico, no. In fact, it's the opposite because if you clean these things up and you desanitize them, I think you nearly neutralize them. Myself and my friend, we had a quick conversation about it. Wasn't a long one. We're grown ups, we're adults. We know slavery is wrong. Slavery is real. It's true human history. It's been treated different at different times. It's still happening now. There are people being bought and sold as we speak. And colonization comes in different guises now. And through time, they came through different guises. Back then, I'm not a historian, and this isn't a history lesson, you know, and the minute little bits that I know about the world, which is very little, um, it appears that listen, at one stage it was done by force, and now it's kind of done through ideology, nearly, or through capitalism, or whatever way you want to look at it. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. This is supposed to be a board game channel, not a political channel. But there is a crossover because I believe one of the things about learning and playing board games, one of the great things that comes out of it is the conversations that come out of it. Listen, most of the conversations that we have before, during, and after is about the game and the things that we did and our strategies and how we interacted and so on and so forth, which is great because you learn from that. But also, every now and again, conversations come out of sometimes something more serious or different, which the game points at or reminds us of, or say, look, hey, don't forget this over here. And I think this is what Puerto Rico does. And other games do it as well, like Catan and, you know, nearly Mir. All these games are, a lot of them are about taking over and control or war of some guys. And that's part of life. And that's one of the great things they do is conversations come out of that. I got to think about it today for a few hours today when I was up in the library, when I was taking my notes. And I'm better for it. And I hope you're better for listening to this, even if you disagree with me. If you disagree with me, please write in. Tell me you think I'm wrong. But by not cleaning up that game, by playing that game as it was, as it came out in 2002, it led to a conversation. It led to this video. And by having that, you can have those conversations. There's a better chance of them having. And I think we can have things in games. And there's a video, again, I'm not going to be doing reviews, but I will be doing videos like this on certain board games. And there's one that I'm definitely not educated or experienced enough to talk about, and that's definitely War. But one is This War Is Mine. There's there. One of the greatest games ever made. Not for no other reason than what it made me feel and what made me think about for the next couple of days after playing it. Puerto Rico did the same thing. Because of a quick 60-second conversation we had, which was about that these actually colonists, they were slaves. They remind us that, hey, and I think that's a good thing. Just because you play a game which might have something in it that you may not like doesn't mean that you agree with that. Because otherwise, there's a lot of games you couldn't play. One of my favorite two-player games is Memoir, wherever it is, Memoir 44. And then one person plays as the Allies, the other person plays as the Germans. You know, it's so yeah. But that's just my thought on it. I don't think it's offensive. I don't think it was done in a way that was crass. But again, that's just my opinion. So I don't know if I'm right or wrong. What I do think I am right about is that by cleaning it up, sterilizing it nearly, definitely doesn't allow for good positive conversation. Because I think that's the goal of what we have to do in society. When we have something that's negative or bad, we turn it into a positive. And that positive thing is that we can't change a bad thing. A bad thing's a bad thing. But if we can have positive conversations that come from that, that changes. And like I said, that's one of the great things that, one of the many, many brilliant things that board games and this hobby brings is sometimes we have discussions that wouldn't come up, under normal circumstances. Yeah, so that's my final thought on that. So yeah, Puerto Rico, recommend it, play it. So that's me for this week. Like, share, check out my Facebook page. I'll be on Twitch soon. I'm also on Instagram, and I will be starting putting stuff up on TikTok. What else is there? No, that's it. Please, my email address is there, so please get in contact. And if there's anyone out there wants to give me advice to make me better at this, please do. What have I got planned for next week? No idea. Just get this video out and let's make a decision about whether I'm going to keep doing this or not. I think I am. So that's it. Yeah. So everybody stay safe, stay board gaming, and see you next week. Bye now.